What is up, you guys? This is Mini Superheroes Today. With hundreds of Marvel characters to choose from, in today's video, I want to highlight 10 figures that I really think LEGO needs to get on with making. Now, these are characters from the MCU and comics, so I'll explain each one as we get to it, but be sure to hit like and subscribe down below, and let me know if there are any other characters that aren't on this list that you think need to be made. At number 10, we have U.S. Agent from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Also, take a look in the bottom left corner. I made a meter for how likely it is we'll get each of these characters, and I think it's pretty likely that we'll get him eventually, although he'll probably be in his red and black outfit instead of his red, white, and blue outfit, because when we do get him, I think it'll be for the Thunderbolts movie, which he's slated to appear in. In any case, I think we'll get him eventually, so we just have to keep being patient, but I do think we should have gotten him as a part of the LEGO Marvel CMF series. At number 9, we have Cosmo the Space Dog from Guardians of the Galaxy in the MCU, and I really don't think that we're ever going to get this, although I guess anything can happen, but he did already appear in the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, but he did not come in the LEGO set that was tied into that, which was the Guardians of the Galaxy Advent Calendar. Furthermore, he's slated to show up in Guardians Volume 3, but he's not in any of the 3 sets that have been announced, so unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get a Cosmo anytime soon, if ever. At number 8, we have classic comic book Ant-Man. Now, he was a founding Avenger, and this outfit is absolutely iconic as far as early Marvel goes, but as the MCU rolls on, I just don't see them going back to revisit the comic book sets like they used to back in the day, and I think if we were ever going to get a figure like this, somewhere around 2015 or 2016 would have been the time to do it. There are so many MCU movies and shows coming out that I just don't see us getting a ton of comic book sets going forward, and when we do get comic book sets, to do a relatively deep cut outfit like this probably wouldn't make as much sense as just shoveling out more Spider-Man sets, so unfortunately, even though this is probably my personally most wanted figure, I really don't think it's ever going to happen. Somewhere around the 50% mark, we have RONIN from ENDGAME at number 7. Now, I can understand why LEGO maybe didn't want to highlight Hawkeye's most violent era of his life, but at the same time, it was a pretty prominent suit shown in the biggest MCU film to date, so I really hate that we're probably always going to be missing this one in our collection, and if we were ever going to get him, you know, including him in, like, the Avengers Endgame final battle at the compound from the Infinity Saga wave would have been cool, but as the MCU rolls on, I just don't know if they'll ever go back and revisit this specific suit, so I have him at the 50% mark, and I'm just not sure that we're ever going to actually get him. At number 6, we've got Howard the Duck. Now, this is another one that I think is just past his prime for getting made. You know, he was pretty memed up around the time of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We don't know if he'll show up in Volume 3, but he's obviously not included in the LEGO sets. And, you know, I just don't see it happening. As funny as it would be just to include him as a meme in the background of a set, I just don't think they're ever going to make him happen. The only exception would be is if they did some sort of, like, Master Builder series, Guardians of the Galaxy set, which I can't even imagine what that would be. I could see him being included if they had to, like, fill it with 15 minifigs, but otherwise, I think he's just too obscure to get made, although us diehard Marvel fans would love to add him to our collections. For Spider-Man No Way Home, we got several throwback sets going back to the first and second movies in the Spider-Man MCU trilogy, and if we were ever going to get the homemade suit, I feel like it would have been in one of those sets. Unfortunately, we didn't get the homemade suit, so I don't know if we're ever going to get it, but you can see the likeliness meter is pretty high on this one, because I think if the LEGO Marvel theme continues on long enough, they will go back and revisit this at some point, so I do think we could get it, but it's just hard to say when, if ever, but I'm holding out hope, and I do think it's pretty likely. At number 4, we have the Fantastic Four. Gee, I wonder how that happened. But on the likeliness meter, I'm almost guaranteeing we'll get LEGO Fantastic Four sets at some point. Of course, there's a Fantastic Four MCU movie on the way, so we'll probably get sets tied in for that movie. The only disappointing thing is that we probably will never get Fantastic Four figures as you see them here, based off of their classic comic book look. I would really love that, but as I said earlier in the video, LEGO seems to just be moving away from making comic book based sets altogether, you know, so I just don't see it ever happening, although I would really love for it to. You know, think of all the side characters they could bring in, like Mole Man, Galactus, maybe even Brick Built Galactus. You could have Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom. There's just so many characters to explore if they went the comic route, but like I said, I just don't see that happening, although I do think we'll get some version of the Fantastic Four at some point. I think it's a crime against humanity that we haven't gotten the stealth suit Captain America in minifig form yet. Okay, maybe it's not that drastic, but this is the only major Cap suit from the MCU that hasn't been made aside from his first Avenger outfit, so it would be cool to get this one. There's a rumor that later in 2023, we're getting a Captain America and Black Widow motorcycle chase set, and I could see that being based off of the Winter Soldier and maybe including this suit, so maybe we'll get this one sooner than we think, but I do have this one ranked pretty high in likeliness because this suit is just so iconic. It's a fan favorite, and fun fact, it's actually Chris Evans' favorite Cap suit that he ever wore too, so I think with all of that momentum going for it, it will probably get made at some point. Now, right around the 50% mark, I've got Stan Lee on the list. I think we would all love to have a Stan Lee in our sets and LEGO collections, but I don't know. It might be a little insensitive now that he's no longer with us. Like, when people point the finger at LEGO and say, oh, this is just a cash grab because, you know, you're basically profiting off of somebody's death. I don't really know when the right time to make a Stan Lee minifig could or would be. I think the perfect set for him to come in would have been the Daily Bugle, to just have him walking down the street. But I don't know. I'm just not really sure how you can handle a Stan Lee minifig without people thinking it's insensitive, so I still would love a Stan Lee minifig, and personally, I wouldn't see it as insensitive, but you know how the internet is. People love to find things to complain about, and I feel like this one might just give them a little too much to complain about, but I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. And to end the video on some good news, I think the number one minifigs we want the most are updated Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man minifigs from Spider-Man No Way Home. The good news is there is a rumor that we're getting an $100 No Way Home final battle set later in 2023, and that's good news for a lot of reasons. The first being that we're getting these two minifigs in question, but the second being that it's only $100. I know $100 is a lot of money, but it sure beats them coming in a $500 set that only a select portion of the LEGO Marvel fandom could afford. So overall, I do think it's good that they're coming in a $100 set. I just hope that LEGO doesn't skimp out on the detail, because these two come in at number one on the list, so I think all of us would agree that we want them to look as good as possible. So I am very excited that we're getting them, or at least rumored to be getting them at all, but I just hope that LEGO does a good job with them when they finally come out. But with that being said, we're going to bring this video to a close. Let me know if you agree with the choices made here. If there are any figures I left off the list that you think should have been added on, let me know down in the comments. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Well, you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and maybe check out one of my other videos listed here.